My quiet suburban life was just about perfect until Karen, our HOA president, decided to declare war on my front yard. I'd lived in this neighborhood for 5 years, and things were peaceful. We all got along, kept our lawns tidy, and enjoyed the community pool. But then, Karen got elected. She was a middle-aged woman with a haircut you could set your watch to and a stare that could curdle milk. Her mission, it seemed, was to enforce the HOA rulebook with the iron fist of a tiny, self-important dictator. It started small. Notice about my garbage cans being visible from the street for exactly 10 minutes too long. A fine for a rogue dandelion that dared to sprout near my mailbox. I paid the fines, pulled the weed, and tried to stay off her radar. But Karen seemed to thrive on conflict. She'd patrol the streets in her golf cart, a clipboard in hand, looking for infractions. Her reign of terror was whispered about at neighborhood barbecues, but nobody wanted to challenge her directly. She was a master of bureaucratic warfare, and we were all just trying to live our lives. The real trouble started when my brother, Mark, came to visit. Mark is the district attorney, a job that keeps him incredibly busy. He's a no-nonsense guy, but he's also one of the kindest people I know. He was driving his brand-new, gleaming black pickup truck, his pride and joy he'd saved for years to buy, since my driveway was full with my own car. He parked on the street in front of my house. It was a wide street. He was well clear of any driveways or fire hydrants, and it was perfectly legal. I didn't think anything of it. Oh, how wrong I was. The next morning, I was making coffee when I heard a commotion outside. I looked out the window and saw Karen, in her usual power stance, standing next to Mark's truck. She was pointing at it and yelling at a tow truck driver who looked incredibly uncomfortable. I rushed outside, my heart pounding. "Karen, what's going on?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She turned to me, her face a mask of smug satisfaction. "This monstrosity," she said, gesturing to Mark's truck, "is in violation of HOA Bylaw 7.4, which prohibits commercial vehicles from being parked on the street overnight." I stared at her, then at the truck. "Karen, that's not a commercial vehicle. It's a personal pickup truck. It has a large bed. It could be used for commercial purposes. Therefore, it's a commercial vehicle," she declared, as if this bizarre leap of logic was enshrined in the Constitution. "I've already called the tow truck. It's being impounded." Mark, drawn by the noise, came outside. He took one look at the situation, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to Karen's barely concealed glee. "Ma'am," he said politely, "there seems to be a misunderstanding. This is my personal vehicle. I'm visiting my sister." Karen barely glanced at him. "Ignorance of the rules is no excuse. Your vehicle is being towed." The tow truck driver, seeing a potential legal storm brewing, hesitated. "Look, lady, I don't want any trouble. Just looks like a regular truck to me." This enraged Karen. "Are you questioning my authority? I am the president of this homeowners association. I order you to tow this truck now." Before anyone could react, she did something truly unbelievable. She marched over to a pile of landscape rocks on the edge of her own lawn, picked one up, and hurled it at Mark's truck. It hit the driver's side door with a sickening crunch, leaving a massive, jagged dent in the pristine black paint. A collective gasp went through the small crowd of neighbors that had gathered. Mark's face went from calm to ice-cold in a fraction of a second. The tow truck driver's eyes were wide as saucers. I completely lost it. "Karen, are you insane? You just damaged his property? We're calling the police." Karen just scoffed. "Go ahead. I'll tell them about your illegal parking. You'll be the one in trouble." She crossed her arms, looking immensely pleased with herself. She thought she was untouchable. Mark pulled out his phone, his movements deliberate and calm. He wasn't calling 911. He scrolled through his contacts, his thumb hovering over a name. He looked straight at Karen, his voice low and steady. "You have a right to your opinion on the HOA rules," he began, "but you do not have the right to vandalize my property. That's criminal damage, a serious offense." Karen laughed, a shrill, ugly sound. Oh, I'm so scared. What are you going to do? Sue me. My husband is a very successful dentist. We have excellent lawyers. I stepped forward, my own anger now boiling over. This woman had terrorized our neighborhood for months. And now she'd gone too far. Karen, I said, my voice dripping with a sweetness that was pure poison. You might want to reconsider your next move. My brother isn't just any visitor. I paused for dramatic effect, letting the moment hang in the air. The neighbors leaned in. The tow truck driver held his breath. I looked at Mark, then back at Karen's smug face. This is Mark, I said, pointing to my brother. As in District Attorney Mark, the head prosecutor for this entire district. The one whose office prosecutes people for things like, oh, I don't know, criminal damage to property. The change in Karen's expression was a sight to behold. It was like watching a cartoon character get hit by an anvil. Her smug grin melted away, replaced by a slack-jawed look of pure, unadulterated horror. The color drained from her face. She looked at Mark, then at me, then back at the huge dent in the truck. Her eyes were wide with panic. She froze completely, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water, but no sound came out. Mark didn't even raise his voice. He simply said, I accept your apology. But he wasn't talking to Karen. He was looking at the tow truck driver, who quickly nodded, got back in his cab, and drove away as fast as he legally could. The gathered neighbors started whispering, and a few of them were openly smirking. The queen had been dethroned, and it was glorious. Karen finally found her voice, a pathetic little squeak. I. It was a mistake, a misunderstanding. Throwing a rock at my truck was a misunderstanding. Mark asked, his voice dangerously quiet. I don't think so. I have a dozen witnesses here who saw you deliberately vandalize my vehicle. I'd say that's pretty clear-cut. He then turned to me. Can you get me the number for a good auto body shop? And also, can you send me a copy of those HOA bylaws? I'd be very interested to read the section on commercial vehicles. I have a feeling my office's civil division might find it fascinating. The threat, though veiled, was crystal clear. He wasn't just talking about the dent anymore. He was talking about the abuse of power, the misinterpretation of rules, the constant harassment. He was talking about Karen's entire reign. Karen began to babble, apologizing profusely, offering to pay for the damages in cash, right there, on the spot. She said she'd do anything at all. Her reign of terror was built on intimidation, and the moment she was faced with real authority, she crumbled into a pathetic, pleading mess. Mark just looked at her with disdain. Send the bill to my sister's house. I expect it to be paid in full. And I expect you to resign as HOA president immediately. Otherwise, I'll be forced to explore all my legal options, both for the vandalism and for the potential misuse of your position. The next day, a letter was slipped under everyone's door. It was a short, terse resignation letter from Karen, citing personal reasons. The check for the repairs to Mark's truck arrived a day later for an amount that was, let's just say, very generous. A new, much more reasonable neighbor was elected HOA president, and peace was restored to our little suburban paradise. Every now and then, I'll see Karen scurrying from her car to her front door, avoiding eye contact with everyone. She never did get a new haircut, and Mark, he got his truck fixed, good as new. He still visits often, and now he makes a point of parking his big, beautiful, gleaming black pickup truck in the exact same spot every single time. It's a silent, shiny reminder that sometimes even the most overbearing bullies can be brought down to earth. All it takes is a little bit of karma and a visit from the district attorney. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Karen Conflict for more stories.